invitation and the invite to Edinburgh May Day. I've come all the way from Liverpool, and I have to say your May Day is much more in crisis than Liverpool. Friends and comrades, we do live in dangerous times, facing so many horrors and injustices. A genocide in Gaza, ongoing wars in Ukraine and Sudan, the rise of the far right and racism in the UK and the global north, attacks on groups of people who are already discriminated against, black and brown people, disabled people, trans people, migrants, women, and many others. And on top of this, we have the inevitable looming climate and environmental crisis, which is already upon us. Since COVID, we've unfortunately seen the climate movement take a step back with the collapse of the youth climate strikes and to an extent from Extinction Rebellion. Activist energy has rightly focused on stopping the genocide in Gaza, or strike support and the cost of living crisis, or on the anti-racist struggles in response to the racist riots last summer. Reform is exploding on the back of the failure of the government to be anything else than a Tory imitation. We see similar patterns in many other countries, like the AfD in Germany, the National Front in France, and other fascist parties in the rest of Europe, while Trump is restructuring international relations from the US. Our people may be falling asleep in freedom, but risk to wake up in servitude. You don't fall in an authoritarian regime overnight. We fall in it slowly until one morning we realize democracy doesn't exist anymore. My country, France, experienced this 85 years ago. To face this, it's necessary that we build a mass movement of multiple alliances, of collaborations between climate justice, class and social justice, race and gender justice, between peace campaigners of all backgrounds and other activists in their communities. The climate crisis is a working class issue. It is not a problem of rich people or a cause only for middle class, because working class people are and will pay for this crisis if we don't bring back climate justice to the center of our struggles. Already, it is the poorest in flooded communities that struggle to rebuild or move away from affected areas. Already, it is workers in industries and their communities bearing the brunt of mass job losses like in Grangemouth, Port Talbot or Luton. It is working class communities breathing polluted air, not able to heat their homes or buy healthy food. It is working class communities unable to afford transport or extra charges they're bringing in low pollution zones. It is workers from all sectors that are feeling the recurring heat waves and the effect of climate change on their workplaces. And whether you work in-house, on the front line of the NHS, or as a supporting care worker for the elder, homeless people or disabled people, you already know about the impact of heat waves on those you care for. If you work in hospitality on a precarious contract, in a factory on low pay, or outdoor in construction or as a postie, you know what happens when you're out at work and it's over 30 degrees. Enough of the false narrative that sometimes our unions are peddling, that net zero is the cause of job losses or that solutions lies in unproven technologies. That is not the reason we have job losses. It's the billionaire and the corporation that are shutting down this industry. It is because the bosses and politicians don't care about a just transition or involving workers and trade unions in solutions. It is the system that is broken to the core. A system of greed over need, a system of profit over public services, a system of power and control over freedom and joy. Without bringing down this capitalist system, we are doomed. But resistance is still alive. A bit of hope, maybe. Resistance is still alive. From the villages of Kampala in Uganda, fighting oil giants like Total, who are trying to build a gigantic pipeline through national parks and villages, to the indigenous communities in the Amazon resisting mining giants, from Pacific Islander fighting for their survival in the face of their land being engulfed by the oceans, to the Italian JK and auto workers who have occupied their factory for 4 years. There is hope and there is inspiration. We haven't lost yet. So we're calling all trade unionists and activists to build those bridges more urgently between workers and climate activists, between trade unionists and disability and trans rights advocates, between strikers and Palestine liberation campaigners, building alliance with tenant unions, food justice campaigners, campaigns like Heat Strike and Energy for All. We are preparing for a year of trade union climate action to kickstart in the autumn around the time of COP30, as we need to flex our industrial muscles and ensure the climate crisis shows up as an industrial issue that sometime we will strike about. There is a leaflet at the front with more information and an online rally on Tuesday. Please do get involved. We do need Scotland on board. And it's not good enough to just lobby politicians for action, for transition. It needs to be more ambitious. We must take our future in our own hands. Go back to your workplace, your trade union branch, your climate group, your campaign group, and ask yourself what you can do to take part in a year of trade union action and build the mass resistance. In Scotland in particular, you have a long history of struggle and organizing, and you hold the light switch on fossil fuel. Polling from the Scottish Parliament election next year showed that Reform could win up to 12 seats. I hope not, but I think as fossil fuel industries will inevitably decline, then the danger is huge that working class people could turn towards anti-migrant and bullshit promises. And when the direct effect of the climate crisis start hitting people even more over the next 2 decades, the politics of division and hate will only grow. I will end by quoting a French writer, Salomé Saké, translated in English, I reassure you. Don't you hear the little music that's rising? This music is not a melody. It is the deafening sound of an alarm bell. We are at this pivotal moment where we can still react. We can still make noise. We can still bring to light verified facts to tear apart the threatening obscurantism. We can still say loud and clear that we do not want that world. We can still use our rights as long as we have them. The right to inform, the right to assemble, the right to create, the right to love or make others love, the right to affirm our desire for solidarity, our need for humanity. We still have the right to resist with all of our strength to this wind of hatred and intolerance. Democracy only dies if we allow it to die. Solidarity.